Support for Arts Weekly is provided by PBS 39, the Our Foundation, Martin Tierney, and the Community Foundation of Greater Fort Wayne.
This is Arts Weekly. Arts Weekly is produced in cooperation with the College of Visual and Performing Arts at IPFW, offering degrees in fine arts, music, theater, and visual communication and design.
Welcome to Arts Weekly. I'm John O'Connell, Dean of the IPFW College of Visual and Performing Arts. We'll be talking music, and a little more music on today's show. In the second half of the show, featured Fort Wayne artist Alicia Pyle will be here to talk about her music and career. But first, I'll bet you have unexpectedly come upon a great outdoor concert in progress at Jefferson Pointe or the Allen County Public Library Plaza and wondered, wow, this is great. Who plans all this and when is the next one? Well, my guests today are in charge of Friday and Saturday concerts that take place every weekend at their venues, and they do an excellent job of making their outdoor lineup very special indeed. I'm joined today by Katrina Newman from Jefferson Pointe and Josette Jordan from the Allen County Public Library, who will discuss their Friday Nights Live and Rock the Plaza concert series. Ladies, welcome to Arts Weekly and thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
I am so excited to talk about what is really kind of unique to Fort Wayne, I think. You could call yourselves competitors, but you're not.
No.
There's that much interest in live music outdoors at Fort Wayne.
That's correct.
Katrina, let's start with you. You're with Jefferson Pointe. What do you do there?
I'm the marketing manager for Jefferson Pointe, so all the concert series that we put on at Jefferson Pointe, it's something that I schedule and I'm in charge of.
And how long have we been doing concerts at Jefferson Pointe?
13 years.
Has it been 13
years?
years?
Yes, it's been 13 years.
That's fantastic. How long have you been with Jefferson Pointe?
3 years.
3 years. So you're keeping the tradition alive and well.
We are.
You got the marching orders the minute you arrive. Josette, you're with the library. What do you do with the library?
Well, I'm the events manager at the library.
I should have a show on events. Events coordinators, what do we do? That's what I should have. Well, great. And you do the same, I suppose, for the library then?
Yes, and take care of other events that we also have there.
You've got a lot of events at the
Yes,
library.
we do. Yes,
Yeah.
we do. But
Rock the Plaza, how long has that been happening?
since we moved to the new building, or renovated building, it's about 7 years now. So
Wow, that's a
great.
great plaza for
Yes,
it.
yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's talk a little bit about Jefferson Pointe's Friday Nights Live. When does it happen?
Happens every Friday night, hence the name Friday Nights Live, from 6:30 to 8:30.
And it starts, we're in mid-season now, I would imagine.
We've
We've been going
are.
on.
It usually starts the first week of June and runs through the first week of September.
Okay, so we've got another month of it, which is great. Yeah.
yes.
And how about Rock the Plaza? What's the schedule? When do you guys start?
we have our concerts on Saturdays, 6 to 10 p.m., and they run through the end of August. And then we end the series with Led Zeppelin Fest on the September the 6th this year, the very first Saturday of September.
September.
So
is that you always have Led Zeppelin Fest?
we
you
did it
change
last
up
year.
sometimes?
We
Oh,
did
you
it
do?
last year.
No
and
Allison Cooper? No
not
Alice
yet.
Cooper?
They may
Alice
consider
Cooper.
that 96.3 XKE, formerly Rock 104,
Right.
help sponsors that one.
Right.
And we did it. It was very successful last year. And
Right.
so they were doing it again this year, so we'll see how it goes.
Do you want to? Yeah, if it works, why reinvent it?
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So, how does Jefferson Pointe find their talent? Is it all local, or do you
There's
sort of go regional or national?
There's no shortage for talent here at
There is
Jefferson.
none, right.
No,
right.
not in Fort Wayne.
And I think that has a lot to do with Sweetwater
I think it does have a lot to do with Sweetwater.
because of their reputation and their outreach to musicians across the country, but also because of the strong staff they have that are all musicians. You have to be a musician to work there.
Right.
And they don't want to give up their music life to, yeah, I think that's so. So you've got a plethora of people to pick from.
We do, and we start the process in January, and that's when we collect the demos and the resumes and the tapes. They all start flooding in, and we generally pick maybe 1 or 2 bands to add to the lineup because obviously year after year some bands break apart, scheduling conflicts, so each year we have 1 or 2 slots to fill up, and we go through all those tapes and demos and select a couple of bands and put the lineup together, and everything's done by mid-February.
Wow, that's well,
quick.
because they have to get their summer schedule together.
That's right.
you've
We
gotta
want to
work
get them
around-
before they hit the local venues here in Fort Wayne.
Which there's a great deal to pick from.
There are.
What is your schedule like, Josette? When do you guys start auditioning or looking for musicians?
Well, we are privileged enough to have a band agent. Kyle Haller is his name, and he does an excellent job of getting all of our local artists here. So he sets that out. He starts, I'm not sure exactly when he starts,
Right.
but he gets them all done in time by June. We're ready to go.
Right. Now, so do you go beyond the region at all, or do you really want to celebrate regional artists?
For Jefferson Pointe, we really want to stick with the localization. So Allen County and the surrounding areas is what we look for.
Is that the same for the library?
Yeah, we do now. Initially, we might have brought in a band or two from outside, but now we stick with mostly the local artists. They're so talented. It's been very, very good.
Yeah. And do you think that is indicative of the kind of audiences you get because they have their own following?
Yes.
And that's a key element in making those decisions is that they're going to bring their own audience along. What kind of audiences are we talking about? What kind of size what kind of attendance do you have at Jefferson Pointe?
We have anywhere between 2,000 to 3,000 people every Friday night.
Really?
Scattered throughout the courtyard, blankets, lawn chairs, they're scattered everywhere.
That is a little bit astounding to me because don't you perform where the fountain is?
Yes.
And you get 3,000 people?
We don't get 3,000 people within that fountain area. We probably squeeze in maybe 800 there, but beyond that fountain area, people have spread their blankets in the grassy areas. They have lawn chairs
that
everywhere.
patio, those sort of
The sidewalks.
alleyways that branch off from there. You'll just fill in there, I guess.
And really, you can hear all the way down to Carmike Cinema.
Sure, I mean it's on a stage. I would imagine it's mic'd and it's all professionally programmed. Yeah, absolutely. How about what kind of audience attendance do you have at the library?
We usually average about 1,000 to 1,500 most nights, and then for the more popular bands that come in, sometimes it's about 2,000. So it's great attendance, and the same thing, the music carries, it's very evocative, and if you're downtown, you're automatically drawn to come down to the Plaza.
Well, the Plaza has that great shelter.
Right.
You already have a band shelter that
Yes.
was part of the
Exactly.
renovation, so
Yes.
you come half ready to go already.
We're ready to go.
So do you bleed into the parking lot if you have 2,000
Yes,
people? I can't imagine.
We bleed into the parking lot and the street a little bit,
You
and
do?
around the corner.
Do
Yes,
you really?
Sometimes.
Do they ever? They never block the street. Though.
Oh,
they
no,
don't turn the street down
no,
for you.
we
Right,
haven't
right.
do that. Haven't had to do that.
Genres. What kind of genres do you try to celebrate?
We try to celebrate all different kinds of genres. You'll find jazz to blues to R&B to rock, party music, country music. We really try to cover all bases.
Are your vendors open?
Of course they are, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean they're open for the whole concert up till 9 o'clock.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The concert's from 6:30 to 8:30, and then the stores typically close around 9.
Right.
But
right.
you do have some time to shop afterwards or during.
But it's a marketing event. It's to get people to Jefferson Pointe and into these shops and into these great stores. So of
And
course they want
provide
to be
something
open.
back to the community. It's free. You don't have to pay. So
Right.
That's
Let's not
something.
forget that.
Yes.
It's free.
It's absolutely free. You don't have to pay. Meet your coworkers when you get off work. Bring your family members out, and just enjoy a free concert.
Yeah. And Allen County is the same thing.
Yeah, pretty much the similar genres, and ours are free as well. The thing that we find is because of the local following for each band, the musicians likes our platform because it's very family friendly. You get the kids dancing and what have you, and it gives them a chance to perform in front of their parents and friends where they typically might be in a club venue and they can't do that.
Oh, that's a good point.
So we've seen that grow, and when one band sets up and then they perform and then they leave and then their other ones come back in,
Right.
and with their following. So it's just grown every year.
Do you have multiple bands in one night?
Yes.
Oh, you do?
Yes, we have 2 to 3, maybe 4, depending on the night.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yes.
Does Jefferson Pointe do the same, or
No,
you
we do
just
one
have
band.
one band?
One
yeah,
band
one
for
night.
the 2-hour
Right,
period.
right. Well, who do we have coming up on the pipeline that we should be excited about?
We have Ty Causey.
Oh.
He's going to be fabulous.
Yeah.
A little bit of R&B. Always brings a big crowd, and
Yeah.
he just really gets into it. He's one of those performers, and he's a great local artist.
And what night is he coming?
He's coming up Friday night.
Tomorrow night. Oh,
Tomorrow
great.
night,
Oh
yes.
no, yeah, tomorrow night. Right, great.
Yes, and behind Ty Causey, we have Loudmouth Soup, which is a new band that we're trying out this year. And then we are going to bring in New Millennium Orchestra and Rosemary Gates and close things out with the Todd Harrell Band.
Great lineup.
yeah, good
Fantastic lineup. How about you, Josette? What's coming up on?
Yeah, on the 9th, we're going to have Joel Young Band, Buttonhead, and Infantry of Noise, and Cougar Hunter. They're very popular, so they'll be coming.
Not sure about that title, but we'll just pass that by.
Yes, yes.
Is that the person's name, or is that his band name?
That's the band name.
Okay,
I'm not sure
fine.
anything else. And then we have several more. There's on the 16th we've got Seattle Rain, Trackless, Hippophonic. On the 23rd we'll have Yellow Dead Betties, Mike Conley and Jane Harold, Dan Dickerson's Harp Condition, Quincy and Quintet.
Wow.
And the last one is Grateful Groove and Pink Droid. They usually put on a good show.
Yeah, yeah. I know a couple of those bands, especially that last one. They do put on quite a show, that last band does. It is family friendly, and that's important, I think, for our viewers to understand, that you guys are really wanting families to come out with the blankets and the chairs and understand that. And I really love that point, Josette, that you brought up, that a lot of these bands play in clubs that families don't really want to go to.
Right.
So this is a wonderful opportunity for them to really enjoy several hours of music with them. Yeah, yeah, that's fantastic. Do you think there's competition?
No.
Not really.
I don't think so either.
No.
There's so many musicians in town. I thought it was interesting when Josette was going through her list. Katrina, you were like, I know them. Yeah, I know them. Oh, yeah, we've had them. Yeah, we've had them. Yeah, I'm always, I really think we need to celebrate the amount of terrific music there is in Fort Wayne, and you guys are doing a great job of it. So thank you both for being on Arts Weekly, and I really look forward to the rest of your series.
Thank you.
It's going to be great. And what do you do for rain days, just in case? Do you still come out?
We cancel.
We cancel. You give us enough notice.
Yes.
All right, great. Ladies, thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
Please take this minute to view our performance calendar of what's coming up in our area, and I'll be right back with our featured Fort Wayne artist, Alicia Pyle. Alicia Pyle is a multi-talented pianist, vocalist, and composer who has made her mark on the local music scene in a short period of time. Since the founding of the Alicia Pyle Quartet in 2010, she and her group have performed their music for events across Northeast Indiana, and they are frequent performers at festivals and cultural events in the area. I am pleased to have Alicia as this week's featured Fort Wayne artist. Welcome to Arts Weekly, and thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
I first found out that you were an IPFW student for a while in music. Is that correct?
Yes.
But when did your music career start? When did your love of music begin?
Probably before high school.
In what way? As a singer or?
As a pianist, I studied classically primarily for about over a decade before I started doing anything else.
You did? Did you study, are you from Fort Wayne or where are you from?
I am a product of Northeast Indiana completely.
Terrific.
So.
Great. And where did you go to high school? I always ask that
I was
question.
homeschooled.
You were homeschooled.
So I actually
there
went to
was-
college for high school, several local universities.
Yeah.
I've been everywhere.
Yeah, they have a lot of dual credit programs,
They do.
area universities.
Fantastic.
That's fantastic. So you had a piano at home and you just played and played and played
I
when you
did.
were
And
homeschooled.
when you're homeschooled, you have a lot of time to do that.
Yeah,
so it's
that's
great.
fantastic. Did you have a love of classical piano at the time? or-
I did, and my mom was a big classical piano fan, so she swore that I was not going to get into pop music and jazz and all those wonderful things. So, and I did love classical music. It was always, it still is my first passion.
It is. But you've moved away from that now.
Not really. I've just broadened.
You've broadened, right. Well,
Added some hours in the day.
I think you're right. You're right. I mean, I always say that musicians or artists who know where they came from, if you will, are better artists, really. If they understand classical music or classical art or where art and study came from, it makes them a better current artist.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, and the music that I compose, and for whether it's for film or for my quartet, I work with fantastic classical musicians, so I know they have the capabilities of playing whatever I ask them to do.
So you are a singer.
I do sing.
You do? Oh, I do sing.
I do
don't know what
sing.
that
I'm not
means,
sure I'm going to
Alicia.
say I'm a singer.
That's funny.
I am. I'm a
do
jazz
sing.
vocalist. I like to
You
sing
are a
jazz. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Because I have to say, when I saw one of the photos that we have of you and your quartet, it just struck me as this woman's a singer. This is a jazz quartet, and she's the lead singer. But you actually play in the quartet because it's a quartet.
Yeah,
it's
it is
not
a
trio.
quartet.
Yeah.
I always consider myself an instrumentalist first, but yes, I'm a singer. I don't like being pigeonholed into being a jazz singer because that's just one very small part of what I do, and one very small part of what I enjoy in the arts. But
well, when you compose, do you compose songs for the...
I just started working with lyrics.
You
started.
did?
I really
Okay.
love composing instrumental music, though. That is my passion. So.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the Alicia Pyle Quartet. It started in 2010.
It did.
What started you? What made you start going down that avenue?
My jazz teacher had been booking me for several events all over different different things that he was too busy to do. Eric Clancy, who's a famous name in town, and I would always work with who he had, and then he started asking me, who do you want to work with? And so I just started finding people. So
there's a lot to pick from.
There is.
This is a big music town.
And they found me. I didn't just find them, they found me. I'll put it that way.
Right,
so.
right. And when one puts together a jazz quartet, what do you have to take into consideration?
Well, it really isn't a jazz quartet. We are a jazz quartet, but
Well, you
I
just
think
don't
you
like
have
those
to
labels, do
no,
you?
I don't.
You
I
don't
hate
like these,
them.
I'm not a singer.
I'm not a singer.
I'm not a jazz quartet, but I am a jazz quartet. Okay. How about just multifaceted,
if you
multi-talented musician?
If you listen to our music, I think you'd have a hard time labeling us.
Okay, that's all right.
We like to leave people scratching their heads. But to take things into consideration, I think, personality types is a huge one. Do we get along? Do we like each other? Can we converse musically? Can we converse, verbally? So.
But it's titled the Alicia Pyle Quartet, so you're the boss.
I hate that label too.
I know you do. I'm sure you do. But it's called Alicia Pyle, so you had to make these decisions.
It's true,
And did they audition?
No, of course
were they
not.
people
No.
you knew and you?
Well, in the jazz community, when you book, you usually, if you don't have a band name, you're booked under whoever books the gig. That's kind of really where the Alicia Pyle Quartet came from. That wasn't well thought out.
That's so great.
It is. No,
well,
it's
our first
true.
gig that I had, I called and made the appointment. I get the title. If Ben would be the title.
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
Yeah.
No, truly. It really is. You can ask any jazzer in town that doesn't have a band name. That's kind of how it starts if you're an individual solo artist. And so then we started becoming recognized as a group, and the name just stuck. But we go by APQ now a lot of times.
I do, which I saw your logo. That's a really nice logo. I
Thank you.
like APQ a lot. Well, tell me about your band members. Tell me about who's in your quartet.
Derek Reeves is our violinist. So he is principal violist for the Fort Wayne Philharmonic.
Oh.
Yes, we kind of stole him from the Philharmonic
Wow.
when he's not playing with them.
Which he's pretty busy doing, I'm sure.
He's very busy doing. So
Yeah.
we have some other members that rotate in and out with him, David Streeter on saxophone and Alan Parr on horn, and as well as John Forbing on guitar. So we do, pull from the local talent because these guys are very busy. They have other jobs, they have families, so they're not always available to play everybody,
And what kind of gigs does APQ get these days?
I'll go back to the musicians very quickly. Brad Coons is our bassist, who also plays with the
okay.
Philharmonic and several groups in town, and Jose Morales, who is a percussionist that I met at IPFW. But we play for...
Okay, so your quartet just grew into, I don't know, a sextet or something. So you have musicians you bring in.
The members I mentioned were rotating members with Derek.
Great.
Soloists,
Okay, great,
yes.
great.
But,
yeah.
that is primarily the quartet, is Derek, Brad, Jose, and I.
Oh, okay.
We've played for Jazz Fest, River Fest. We play a lot of fundraisers. We play a ton of private and corporate events. That's primarily what we target. And then we just started playing Club Soda in the Phoenix as well. So.
How does one get in that circuit, if you will, of Fort Wayne clubs? Because there's a lot of competition, and I've often wondered, how does somebody get started at Soda Club?
Well, Eric Clancy was my jazz teacher. We don't do a whole lot of club gigging, but we do it here and there to keep our name in the community and to share with not just private and corporate events. We like to play for the community. But I would have to answer that question. Go out and network, meet new people, meet the musicians playing at these clubs, take an interest in local music, go and support them, and then you're going to meet people and,
Do you think Fort Wayne supports, now that you say that, do you think Fort Wayne supports local musicians?
I think they are growing into supporting local musicians. I think the more local musicians support local musicians and talk about how great, and share in that, the more non-musicians and non-artists are going to support it as well.
Right, right. is there a venue that you prefer? And I don't mean a place, but I mean, you say you do corporate parties, and then there are these clubs, and then there's for the community. Are there venues that you?
I love the historic venues. Anything historic. If we're at the History Center or the Embassy or things that are old that have character, it's fun. It's just really enjoyable.
And when you're at those places, you're usually at a festival, I would imagine. So you're one of several.
Or a fundraiser, like for the ballet or for the Philharmonic or something. So yeah.
Great. Well, you are working on a CD.
We are.
Tell us about that.
We will be heading to the studio in about a week, Sweetwater Sound Studios. So it's been a long time in the making. We composed our music over the last 4 years, and we've been ready for a long time. So we just started our fundraising campaign, and anyone that would like to support can go to GoFundMe.com and find us, or to our website and find information as well. And we're very excited about this. 20% of the proceeds will go towards Destiny Rescue, which is an anti-human trafficking organization that we're involved with.
Oh, how did you get involved with that organization?
I was commissioned to write a conference opener about 3 years ago, and it was a conference that was centered on bringing awareness to human trafficking. And so it really stuck with us. Once you find out about human trafficking and how terrible it is, it doesn't really go away in your heart. And so it really stuck with us, and that's one of our big pieces on the album. And so that's a big reason.
Is the album all instrumental? Is there?
It is. Our first album is going to be truly our instrumental sound, which is a blend of classical with jazz, with elements of world music, and a little bit of rock music too.
And it's all written?
It is all composed, yes.
Okay. Composed, that's the word I'm looking for.
There's one jazz standard on the album. It's Caravan.
Oh, okay.
But it's a wickedly strange arrangement of Caravan. So.
Wickedly strange.
Yes, it's awesome.
That should be the title of it. Wickedly strange. Wickedly strange arrangement. You know, because I think some people, when they hear the word jazz, think improv. You know, they think there's going to be riffs of each artist is going to take their turn through a series of riffs.
That will most definitely happen.
That will happen on your CD?
Yes, of course.
Okay, all right. So that's why I was asking if it's composed. Does that mean it's all set, or when you're in the studio, things will happen? Magic will happen in the studio?
Yeah, I mean, it's prearranged, but there are sections for improvisation, and we always allow for things to be spontaneous. That's when magic happens.
Have you worked at Sweetwater Sound before?
I just started working at Sweetwater Sound. I've primarily worked as a self-employed professional musician until this summer, when I did take a position to teach in their academy.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant. Have you recorded this? You're actually employed at Sweetwater.
I am now newly an employee at Sweetwater. I'm very excited about that.
Wow! Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's I was saying in the previous segment. How lucky we are in Fort Wayne to have Sweetwater. Amazing
people that work there.
Beautiful build. Well, a lot of rogue musicians work there. That's what makes it great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Chuck Sarek, who started Sweetwater, celebrates that. He likes that energy, so that's terrific. Well, but you've not recorded there in the past.
No, I've only recorded on somebody else's project once before. So I've only been there for a short time for that.
Great.
Never taking anything of my own in there though.
Right.
Or of our own.
Does that mean that you're Fort Wayne bound for a while, or do you have aspirations to tour in a larger scheme?
Well, one never knows, but I really believe investing back into my community. My community, like I said, I'm a product of Northeast Indiana. They have invested in me, whether it be IPFW or the Philharmonic or local arts scene, Sweetwater Sound. So I believe investing back into my community, and so I don't want to leave Fort Wayne. I really actually plan that Fort Wayne will probably be my home base.
Oh.
But I think we would like to go on some small tours. So if that works with the guys' schedules, you know, they're very busy with the Philharmonic and other organizations, but.
Right, I guess it would have to be a summer schedule with the Philharmonic.
We got asked to do a 2-week tour along Route 66 this year, and so I mean, we're just starting to.
Did you do it?
Get into that. No, we didn't. We did not have a product.
Oh,
so we didn't have our CD done yet. So yeah, we're going to wait.
So you got to have the product before you're ready to go on the tour.
Yes, that's the businesswoman inside of me. Before we go on tour, we need to have something to share.
Businesswoman, sort of singer, sort of composer.
No, these
Which
labels.
do you love? Okay, so let's drop the labels. But you must like one more than the other.
I have a passion for business. I will be honest with you.
You do?
I do. So
wow, that's interesting.
I do. My family has a business background. My grandfather started Pyle Industries, which is a car stereo company that was based in Huntington, Indiana. So business is important to me, and I think if you're a successful artist, it's because you understand business and how to manage your talent, and you know what to do with it and where to share it. And
yeah, I'm starting a program at IPFW this spring called Entrepreneurship in the Arts.
Excellent.
Because too many of our young musicians and artists, they leave and they're like,
amazing.
okay, I just spent 4 years studying acting. I have no idea how to get a job, or I don't know how to write a grant if want to do a CD or something. So yeah, well, that means I'm going to have you into the class.
Please.
To talk about your passion for business.
I would love that. Thank you.
Yeah. Does Sweetwater engaging you in that idea, that business passion?
It's something primarily that I've gleaned from my family, but they most certainly foster everything that I'm interested in, and they've always been a great supporter of mine. Chuck has lent me the theater several times for cancer fundraisers that I've organized, so I really appreciate them.
Yeah,
they've been good to me.
Well, it's a great facility. That theater's a great facility, and it's really set up for intimate music events.
It's perfect.
So you've played your musicians. You've joined other quartets out there, I imagine.
We've performed there several times.
Yeah,
we've played their company party a few times, so we have fun.
Okay, so you're in the recording studio when?
August 11th through 13th, and we need help. So
11th through 13th.
Yes.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah.
We're going to get this CD done. You can only improv this long, and then we have to go on. The businesswoman in you will be counting the dollars as we stay there, I can imagine.
Yeah. I usually say the finger snaps, but
well,
I'll try.
I hear you. Anyway, it's a great pleasure meeting
Thank you.
And thank you for joining me on Arts Weekly.
Thank you for having me.
I really look forward to the CD,
Thank you.
and I look forward to seeing your quartet out and about.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining me. I'm John O'Connell, Dean of the IPFW College of Visual and Performing Arts. Next time on Arts Weekly, I'll be joined by Barb Richards from the Embassy Theater to hear all about their upcoming concert and event schedule. Then featured Fort Wayne artist Liz Monnier from the Fort Wayne Dance Collective will drop by to discuss her life and work as a pillar of the local dance community. For up-to-the-minute arts updates, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And be sure to join us here Thursday evenings at 7:30 on PBS 39. Thanks for watching Arts Weekly.
Support for Arts Weekly is provided by PBS 39, the Hour Foundation, Martin Tierney, and the Community Foundation of Greater Fort Wayne.